Hey everyone. So last week I played in the $10,000 buy-in World Series Poker main event. I played in the domestic leg of the main event, which is on WSOP.com. The tournament got a total of 705 runners, generating a prize pool of about $6.8 million. I ended up finishing in 87th place with total cash of $15,566. And I just want to make a quick video kind of showing why I found was the top 10 most interesting hands I played in. The order of the hands are going to be in chronological order. Just think it's easier to follow that way. But this just showcased the 10 I thought were the most interesting. So this is earlier on in the tournament, probably the first level actually. So we all have about 300 big blinds effective. We're going to start the hand in the big blind. We have a raise from under the gun, 2x open. And we have middle position call. And now it's going to fold around to us in the big blind, and we're going to just call. You could go either way with this hand. This early in the tournament versus an early position open, I think it's just fine flatting. Yeah, you could go either way, but I don't think it's bad flatting at all. Alright, so we call. We have a pretty nice flop, pretty much the best non-made flop we could have. So we have obviously the nut flush draw, we have a gut shot straight draw, ace over card, so this is just good all around. Obviously we're going to check to the pre-flop raiser. The pre-flop raiser makes a very small bet on this somewhat wet flop, and middle position player calls. I think we have easy raise. We have a very strong draw, and when you strongest drawers and made hands, you want to make a big pot. Obviously the tension, them folding be good because I just have ace high at the moment. But if they call, we're still in great shape because we have a ton of equity in this hand. So we raise. I like a bigger sizing without position. I just think a little more than 4x is good here. So the early position player does call, middle position player folds. We see a turn of a 6. Pretty good turn. It makes us have an open-ended straight draw now. We still don't have a made hand, but then again, this is definitely one of the best drawers we can have, so we gotta continue betting. I like a larger sizing now. If I had a two pair like Jack 5, Jack 3, if I had a set, pocket 5s, pocket 3s, all in which are in my range, I would want to make a big size to be balanced. With my best drawers, I gotta make a big bet as well. I expect him with his holdings to mostly call me here, because I have a nutted advantage. Only nutted hands he has pretty much a sets. He has all the sets in his range. Jacks, 5s, 3s. I don't have jacks. I would have re-raised pre-flop. But still, I don't think he could raise me too often, so that's another reason why I like Ben here. He does raise me, so at this point, I think he either has aces, kings, queens, or a set, like pocket jacks, pocket 5s, pocket 3s, maybe on occasion ace jack. Meanwhile, a hand like ace jack should just call, because I do have a lot of the nutted, better hands in my range here, especially on a 6 turn, maybe in big blind. So at this point, if I'm up against a set, I don't think he's a folding. So I don't want to re-raise him here. I'd rather just call and realize equity. So that's what we do. Remember, this is a $10,000 buy-in main event. I'm not trying to go busto first hand. So that's another reason I'm calling. So we do hit ace, which is a nice river for sure. Yeah, obviously I'd rather diamond or straight completing card, but ace is not bad. But I definitely, as far as the ace in our ranges, this is a great card for his range. Like for example, I know I have ace diamonds, but if he had like ace king of diamonds, this card he wants to barrel, or he has ace jack, he has 2 pair. He can represent maybe aces if you want. I'm trying to think of his bluffs. So So what do we do? We check, and he just checks, and we win with 2 pair. He just has king jack, so it was a nice hand. Again, we're still at the early stage of the tournament right now. we're under the gun. We have king queen off. We're gonna open. Open a little less than 3x is fine. We're still, again, with about 300 big blinds effective, so I don't mind this open in size. We call from the button and the big blind. So the big blind checks on this flop. We see bet fairly large. It's a pretty wet board. I like the fact that I have a backdoor heart draw. I like the fact that I have a gut shot straight draw. I like the fact I'm open on the gun. I really represent this board texture. If it had like a hand like ace king, ace queen, I want to make a large bet as well because it's such a wet board. I get value from hard draws. I get value from backdoor club drawers. I get value from weaker aces. So I definitely like a bigger size and all around on this board texture. And I like the fact I have some equity as well, so it's not so bad of a bluff. And I block big hands like ace king. Sometimes people in the big blind call ace king or like ace queen face I'm gonna open. So I like the fact I block all that. So I see bet. The button calls me and the big blind folds. So we go for double barrel. I again, for all the same reasons as the flop, I like double barrel because we still have some equity, right, with the gut shot straight draw. I block all the big hands, and I really represent ace king, ace queen. I still have aces in my range, jacks in my range, and I don't mind taking one more stab here. Unfortunately, my opponent does call me, and I pretty much attack all his one pair hands weaker than ace should fold. Some weak aces should fold on turn, so I really don't mind double barreling because I think I do get a lot of his range to fold. He does call me, so at this point I think he has a made hand pretty strong. When I check on the street, I do not expect to win. I beat some hard drawers, which is nice. That's another reason to check, but I do think he's gonna have a strong ace some portion of time. I think he's gonna have some two pair combos some portion of time, like ace jack, ace three. And I just, at this point, I just don't want to bluff anymore. He checks. Unfortunately, he does have ace 8, which was one of the hands I was trying to target to get the fold on the turn when I bet so big again. So it's unfortunately, he stuck around, but it's definitely fine. And I don't mind my double barrel. So it's one of the hands I lost. All right, we have ace 10 of diamonds. We have button open. We have a squeeze from the small blind, and we kind of a tricky situation. So I know this player very well. We play against each other a lot. I have a lot of respect for his game. I think he's very good. So I think he's the next. Me and him probably. I don't really know these players. Now I get all notes on these players because I played 10 hours with them, or 8 hours, whatever it was. But at the time, early on tournament, I didn't really have all these notes on all these players, so I didn't really know them. But I knew Hags is a good player. That being said, when you play in fairly soft event in the early stages, you don't want to go play crazy pots against really good players. You gotta just attack other players. So in this spot, I think in a normal situation, I may have put in a 4-bet in position. I think it's strong because I think he's 3-betting loose for sure. And we saw this player make some funky plays already just early on, so he might want to isolate, and just play a pot with him. But we have too strong a hand. We're not going to fold to the squeeze. So we have to ask ourselves, do we want to call a fold? Call a raise. And I think calling, for the reasons I mentioned before, is going to be better here. Plus we're in position, so it's nice. So we go 3 ways. The button does call the squeeze as well. Great flop for us. We have top pair, top kicker with some backdoor diamond drawer. We have turn a 3 or 4 for gut shot. Just good all around. So we see a C bet, a little more than half pot C bet. I don't see any reason to raise here. He still beats us with jacks plus, which he wouldn't fold to a raise. I guess you could argue to protect equity, but I'm fine just calling here. Again, I'm not trying to play a crazy big pot right now. I think it's fine. This hand's gonna play well on most turns. So the button folds, and we go heads up onto the turn. So 9 of spades is a real interesting card, and I think he's good enough to recognize this is a good card from my range. I have all the queen jacks. Like I would call his flop C bet with queen jack of hearts, queen jack of spades, queen jack of diamonds. You know, two overs with backdoor straight potential, backdoor flush potential for sure. Even hands like king queen suited, king king queen hearts, king queen of spades, king queen of diamonds. I'm calling that the C bet for sure, and I would call his squeeze as well, all his hands. So I have a ton of bluffs in my range, and when I have a ton of bluffs in my range, I really don't like betting here. I think he's very, he's good enough to check jam aces and kings and queens. Like if I bet like, well, he's probably not gonna check jam, but still a little too deep for that. But if I bet like for protection / value, if I bet like 7K, 8K, or whatever. If he has aces or kings, I think he would take the line to check raising, and it just put me in a really tough spot. I for those reasons, and plus again, I have good showdown value. I'm okay just checking, and then with his big drawers too, he could check raise as well. Like he also has queen jack of spades in his range, king queen of spades, hands like that. So for all those reasons, I'd like to just check him. He does check on the river, so now I think probably doesn't have a made hand, probably has like ace high or something. Do I get value from ace high? I don't think so. Or like king queen? No, I don't think so. Plus I blocked ace, but I think and versus someone who's very creative and can make dynamic lines, you really don't want to thin value bet, especially if they don't really have a call in range. Like the only hand I think he could call me with was maybe pocket eights or pocket sevens, but pocket eights he'll squeeze. Pocket sevens he might just flat pre-flop. So, but that's not many combination of hands I'm gonna value from. And I think it would 10 or even 9 he would value bet. So I just don't put him on anything. So I'm just gonna check and just take down the pot. He does have ace high, and I'm okay with my check on the river. He could have turned his hand in the bluff. That would have been disastrous for me, right? If I didn't value bet, he raised me, which I know he's capable of. That just would have been disastrous. So I don't mind the passive line there. All right, with ace queen off, seeing a limp from ungun +2. I think we have easy raise. Versus limps, I like going like 3x plus like a half a blind. So like in this case I go 875. I think that's fine. I isolate the limper. So you should check to me on this flop. I think a lot of people C bet this flop, but for someone who's a limp call range, I actually like checking. First thing is I have a lot of showdown value ace high. Second thing is I have some backdoor potential with the backdoor clubs, even a backdoor straight draw, right? I could turn king or a 10 for a gut shot. I have 2 overcards, right? I could turn an ace or a queen. That should be good almost every time. So I just like checking here. I think that's fine. So we do turn top pair on a very wet board. He does bet. He bets I guess that's like kind of a normal bet. But at this point, with this strong of a hand, I think we have a mandatory raise. One being, I don't think he limp calls with like jacks. He could have pocket 6, pocket 4s, but that's not many combos of hands for value. But I think bluffs, he has a ton of bluffs, hard drawers. I block club drawers, but you can have club drawers. You could have a hand with 10 jack. I mean 10 9. That makes a lot of sense, right? So for all those reasons, I like raise him. Make it a little bigger, a little over 3x his bet. I think that's good. I think I got a value from a ton of hands. And even hands like king queen, you should call here as well. So he calls, and he just leads. Heart's not the best card, mainly because he could have had a hard draw the way the line went out. So I think we just have a mandatory call. We're not folding top pair, top kicker. Again, we beat all the straight drawers. We beat club drawers, even though I blocked a club. But I mean, I think we just have to call here. So we do, and he has king jack. Interesting river bet, but I like our line. We got a lot of value there. Pocket pocket kings, so that's great. We open under the gun, and the one thing when you're so over 200 big blinds deep, you don't want to see a lot of callers. So we open under the gun. We get a caller from ungun +1, ungun +2, and the hijack. So not the best scenario when you have kings super deep. Pretty horrible flop. I know I have 2 overs, but this is pretty scary. It's not a situation I'm loving. You know, I'm out of position versus everyone in the pot, so it's not good. You know, this board smacks their ranges. They have, you know, everything. They can have all the big drawers like, you know, 10 jack, you know, hearts, 10 jack with clubs, king jack. Sorry, I meant to say 10 jack. 10 jack, you know, 10 jack with the black door flush drawers. This guy over here could have 2 pair combos in his range. All these players can have pocket 6, pocket 8s, pocket 9s. It's definitely possible. It's just not a great flop when you're super deep. In, you know, this $10,000 main event tournament, which is, you know, freeze out, you know, trying to go busto. So for all those reasons, I decided to check. Just makes the hand a little easier for me to play. I'm obviously gonna check call as long as it doesn't go bet, re-raise, then I would fold. But if it just goes bet and you know, it's just a single bet, I'm definitely gonna call. So I call, and he folds. Plus this baits out when I check. People might bet like hands like ace 9 just to deny equity against the drawers. So I don't mind the line a lot at all. A queen, pretty safe card for my range. The thing that obviously sucks is 10 jack out there, which is definitely one of the hands I put, you know, my opponent on. So for that reason, I have to play in a careful manner. So I check, and he bets. Now against a single bet, I'm gonna call with a 2 over pair. Again, I have a very strong hand, but I am gonna tread lightly. I'm most likely gonna fold on a lot of rivers if he bets big. My opponent checks, which is great. And he just pocket 10s, which is nice. Because I think if I think it would be a mistake, but if I did go bet every street, I think he would fold a river. So I think I got max value by playing in the safest manner. Because a lot of times you go bust. So, you know, if you had pocket 10s in range, he obviously has pocket 9s, pocket 8s, pocket 6s in range, which be tough, right? So I like the reason I want to show this hand because I feel like a lot of players, especially at the beginning and medium levels, misplay kings in this spot early on tournament, and then they, you know, go complain to their friends, oh, I just busted kings versus 10s, or I mean, sorry, kings versus pocket 9s, or, you know, that's all you hit the flop is set, but in reality, you misplayed your hand. So just, you know, be careful when you're in position versus 4 players with the overpair. That's the real reason I wanted to showcase this hand. We have pocket jacks. Still very deep stack at this point. We're going to definitely open. We'll open from the hijack position. We call from the small blind. We flop top set. That's great. Opponent checks to us. I think we have a mandatory bet here, mainly because we get value from all the drawers, right? King, queen, he would call here. I think he still calls with some like ace 5 of hearts, ace 5 of clubs, all the ace spaded hands that have back drawers. I think he calls with, which a lot of people who call small blinds have that in that range. Again, I'm getting value from, I think, a 10 he calls. It sucks I block a jack, obviously, but yeah, I have one of the strongest hands in my range, strongest hands right now. Well, the strongest hand I can have right now, and I just want to get value. I want to build a big pot. So all those reasons, like Ben, he does call. It's not the best turn, but it's not too scary. Obviously, King 9 beats me. Which I guess he could have in his range. I guess he could call with gut shot and overcard, but I'm not too concerned. Not me. And 9-7 I don't think he has in his range. But there's obviously only 2 hands I'm scared of, so I'm definitely betting. Again, bigger size. I can't go too big because the hands I'm trying to get value from shouldn't be nutted. Pocket 10s, pocket 8s. If he does have that, he should raise me at this point, which he does. So he does raise, which is great. I think. This point we just gotta call. I could re-raise, but there's a chance he does. Is there a chance he could have King 9, 9-7? I don't want to go busto against that. Plus, if he has sets like 10s and 8s and 3s, I'll get value on the river. And you know, no real scary river for that. And if he's bluffing, I'm gonna continue bluffing. This is why I just call. Again, this is, you know, I'm not trying to go busto here. In this $10,000 buy main event. So for all those reasons, I like just call him. And this particular player, I saw him bluff a lot. So versus people who kind of play in a maniac type of style, you want to give him a lot of rope. You know, you want to give him a lot of room to make mistakes. So that's another reason I call. If I re-raise here, my opponent's pretty much going to play perfect, right? He'll start folding all his bluffs. I guess club drawers will still call, but you know, I don't mind giving him the free river because I think if he misses draw, he's going to barrel a lot here anyway. Alright, so we have a really good river. So he checks. So at this point, I think he has two things. One, a bluff, like a busted draw or just garbage, which I'm not going to get value from anyway. Or a good hand, like, you know, 10s, 3s might check and check raise, which would be great. You know, he could have like some ace 10s he might call me here with, but I just like a bigger size and just because I just think he folds to all the small sizes and, you know, I can get value. And plus, he might put in the check raise here. I'm trying to bet a third of his stack. I just bet a particular. Generally, when you bet a third below someone's stack or less, they don't feel pot committed. Like, for example, if I bet low over pot, right, 25k, and he shoves, I pretty much got a call, right? If you bet, the general rule is a third, you leave yourself room to fold. So I want him to think, if you just spaz out and bluff this, I want him to think he has fold equity. You know, if I had like, aces of kings and check jams, he could think he could give me the full ace of kings, but yeah, that was my logic there. And he just folds, so that sucks. But I don't mind the big bet. When he checks river, he's either checking the trap or he's checking for showdown, or he's checking because he's giving up in the hand. So I'm trying to attack people who are checking the showdown. I'm attacking obviously strongest hands, which he should check raise me, or, you know, just call if he's, you know, you're a little nervous. I'm getting a good amount of value. So we're starting to chip up nicely now. So we open with ace-4 suited and low jack, standard, and we get raised. Now at this point of the tournament, I think this particular player is decent or pretty good. Definitely someone, you know, who I think is competent at least. So people who are competent, I don't mind mixing it up. So I actually 4-bet bluff this hand. You know, I think we're super deep, so I could apply a lot of pressure. You know, again, this is a big buy-in event. A lot of people don't go bust. I feel like he's gonna have a hard time playing me out of position. And I think ace-4 suited, ace-5 suited plays well in the 4-bet bluff range. Low jack versus button. So that's why I do it. I just think this is a decent spot. I gotta have some 4-bet bluffs. So I don't mind getting out of line here a little bit. He does call me, which is, you know, it's definitely alarming. He's starting to be calling me like hands like pocket aces, pocket kings, pocket queens, pocket jacks. He could be calling me with ace king. He doesn't want to go busto, right? He could be calling me with ace queen suited. Ace jack suited probably call. Ace 10 suited. So he has a lot of things he could call me with. He might just have a complete call-in range or fold range. Some people don't have a 5-bet bluff range. I mean, sorry, a 5-bet range. This deep stack. So he has all the powerful hands in his range. Obviously, he's way stronger than my exact hold'em, but he doesn't know that, right? Alright, so he checks. I'm definitely going to see bet. Paired boards generally are better for the 4-better pre-flop. A little more aggressive pre-flop. So obviously we have pocket aces, pocket kings in our range, pocket queens. We're trying to get value with all his hands. So I like a small bet. You know, again, I'm targeting a weak range, right? If I'm going for value, I'm targeting, you know, 2 overcards. I'm targeting a pocket. If I have pocket aces, pocket kings, I want jacks and queens to call me, right? If I have aces or kings, I want to protect myself against 10s, right? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to bet big because you could have some combinations of like ace 10 suited in his range, even though there's only 2 combos of that. So for all those reasons, just to balance out my range, I like a small bet. He does call me, which is a little alarming. He definitely can have all the overpairs in his range. And then he can have 2 overcards like ace king of hearts, King, queen of diamonds. It's still a good amount of combination on made hands. So we have a 10 turn, which, and then again, I don't mind my C bet because I still have a backdoor diamond drawer. I can hit an ace, which might be good against pocket kings, pocket queens, pocket tens, the jacks. And I think a lot of turns I'm just going to check back and just realize equity, so it's nice. Alright, so on this turn though, it's real interesting because, again, I have all the aces and pocket ace, pocket kings in my range. So I really like another bet, and I think a small bet is best because I've had aces or kings. I'm trying to bet small to generate a pot. Remember, he only has 30k behind, so I don't have to bet big here. I think it'd be a mistake to bluff all in because you could play perfectly with aces or kings. Queens is in a tough spot. Queens will probably fold. Jacks will definitely fold. So yeah, so that's why I like the small bet. Just puts him in a really tough spot. It looks like I have aces or kings here, and he just come in so much. I think he would actually fold jacks here, and queens. You know, I think it's tough. I think queens probably fold as well. Remember, this is Tournament Life is a 4-bet pot pre-flop, so it's just a tough spot for him. And I like putting my opponents in tough spots, so I don't mind my bluff here, me getting out of line at all. He does call. Now at this point, I'm waving the red flag. I think I'm beat. I think he has aces or kings, and I don't even think he has ace king. I think, you know, all his flush drawers, and I bet turn because all his flush drawers should fold, all his backdoor diamond drawers, even though I blocked the ace with the ace diamonds, but like king, queen diamonds should full turn. So that's why I like the double barrel. And then the king, it doesn't change much. I think I'm beat. I guess it blocks pocket kings, so it's less combination, and I block pocket aces. But he checks. I just at this point I think he has nutted hands. So like aces or kings. Pocket queens, I truly believe he probably folds the turn. So I'm gonna give up here. And he does have pocket kings. Obviously, great river for him. He has pretty much the nuts. Other than I guess I could have ace 10, but yeah, he's pretty much the nuts. Ace 10 actually, I think I would check turn with. But either way, it's only 110, so it's unlikely I have a 10. I'm much more likely I have pocket aces, so obviously he's calling like that. So I like my give up on the river. So I just want to show you guys this hand. Obviously, it's a hand I lost, so that's not good. But I thought it was kind of an interesting one. You can't be afraid to get out of line a little bit. And even though I lost, I do like the way I played the hand. We have pocket queens in the small blind. We have a limp. This guy limped a few hands back. We have a limp from the cutoff. We have a mandatory raise. I mean, no other play makes sense. I like this 5x sizing. I think it's perfect. We're out of position. And we have a 3-bet or a re-raise. So this is interesting. This guy I marked as kind of being a little wild. Definitely not afraid to make some big plays. So that being said, I think me raising a limper, it doesn't, I could definitely have weak hands in my range here, right? And I think this player could be attacking my weak range. So for that reason, when I have my strongest hands like aces, kings, queens, I don't mind flattening here, because if he is getting out of line, I want him to keep barreling, right? And I could play my hand pretty passively and kind of get a lot of value that way. And then again, you have aces, king, pocket ace, pocket kings, ace king is range, which is not great to go all in against. If I re-raise, that's the range I would be going up against, right? If he decide to continue his hand. So for that matter, and give him a lot of rope here, I decided just to call. It's close. Pocket jacks I would re-raise. Pocket tens I guess I go either way with, but my strongest hands are like just flat. I think that's fine. So we flop his set on a monotone board, which is okay. I like that was obviously a good flop for us. Doesn't have any diamond combos in his hand. Jack 10 diamonds, but Jack 10 of diamonds should just call, right? He shouldn't re-raise. King Jack diamonds, again, he just call, shouldn't re-raise. I really don't put remember, this is he re-raised pre-flop, right? So I just don't put a lot of diamonds in his range at all. So I'm feeling pretty good about my hand. Obviously, we're checking to him because he's a pre-flop aggressor. He bets about half pot. I think we have a mandatory call. No reason to raise. Ace king, I guess we get value from, but then again, I have all the diamonds in my range, right? So I don't want to re-raise and he fold the ace. That'd be bad, right? I'd just call. Act like I maybe have an ace with ace with the jack of diamonds. That would make a lot of sense for me to have, right? So we check again. He does barrel. Again, for the same reason we call on turn. This is a pretty blank turn. We call on the flop. This is a blank turn, so we should just call here. I mean, this is becoming a really big pot right now. So, if he's getting out of line, I just want him to continue getting out of line. Can't really worry about protecting himself against a diamond. If he has a strong diamond like king of diamonds, he's not gonna fold anyway. So don't worry about so much protecting against that. Versus a particular player, I would just want to give him a lot of rope to kind of hang himself a little bit, because I want him to make a mistake. So that's why I'm choosing to play in a passive manner here. And so now we have the flush completing card. Again, we're checking, and if he jams, we're in a tough spot, but probably fold. Because you gotta remember, I have all the diamonds in my range, right? I easily can have a king of diamonds right now. It makes sense in my line, right? The check call flop, check call turn. I can have all the strong diamonds. For that reason, he should be checking a lot if he he has a weaker diamond, right? So if he bets, I think he's strong. So I would just fold. So when I say bet, I meant if he jams. If he bets so small, I'm never folding this side here ever. So he's this bet doesn't make much sense. He should just be jamming here as a bluff, and I would have folded to a jam. But since he bets so small, I think we have an easy call. We're just getting crazy good pot odds. And he was just bluffing. He got out of line. He thought I was weak, re-raising a limper. He was in position versus me, trying to make a move, and I was, I got maximum value of playing in a passive manner. So it was kind of interesting. Last hand I showed you me playing a super aggressive manner, and this hand me playing a very passive manner. So you kind of see both ends of the spectrum there. But it worked out great for us. Obviously, the line we took got maximum value from his particular hand. And if he's bluffing with 6-8 suited, he just has a million combinations of bluffs, right? So I mean, not a million, but you guys get the picture. Just a ton of bluffs in his range. He's bluffing as wide as 8-6 suited on a full diamond board. So yeah, I thought it was a nice hand. So if I had to rate these 10 hands in order of my favorite hand, this would be my favorite hand. The 6-3 suited. And I like the way this played out. So let's go through it. We have 6-3 suited in the big blind. Again, was pretty deep. We have open from the hijack and the button call from the call from the button. I think you go either way with squeezing or just calling, because squeezing with polarized range isn't bad, but I think if I squeeze with polarized range of 6-3 suited, I just have way too many bluffs in my range, and I don't like that. I much rather, if I'm gonna do 3-bet with polarized range here, rather do it with a hand like 6-5 suited, or like a hand like ace-5 suited. But if 6-3 suited is fine as a call. I'm just getting great pots. I'm calling 600 to win a pot of 3K. So I think it's nice. So we should call. Alright, so we flop bottom pair, but we do have a backdoor club drawer, backdoor straight drawer, and with a pair, so it's not bad. So we check. The initial raiser from the hijack bets real small into a pretty dry flop. It's pretty dry flop, and the button calls. So I think this is really interesting, this spot. I like to re-raise here for a couple of reasons. One, as far as hands in my range, I have all the king 5s, all the king 3s. I have the 3-5 suited hands, if I'm playing 6-3 suited, I definitely have the 2 combinations of 5-3 suited. I just have a ton of nutted hands. Obviously, I never have pocket kings in my range. He has pocket kings in his range. But I have all the pocket 3s in my range and pocket 5s in range, all the 2-player combos. So that being said, I have a pretty big polarization advantage, besides the fact that I don't have pocket kings. But if I have pocket 5s, pocket 3s, I'm never folding anyway if he gets out of line. So, I don't think he's ever going to raise me if I bet here without pocket kings. Another thing, I think this player is particularly weak. I think if he was as strong as pocket kings, he would raise pre-flop, so I don't put that in his range. This player definitely can have pocket 5s and pocket 3s. Actually, both these players can have pocket 5s and pocket 3s. This player can have all 3 set combinations. But I have a 3, right? So there's only 1 combination of pocket 3s left. And it's, 6 combinations of, 3 combinations, 6 combinations of pocket 5s. So, he doesn't have many sets in his range when I have a 3 blocker. So I feel good about this raise. Another thing is, I like the fact it's a king. Not many people have, kings in an open range. Obviously, like a lot of suited kings, but if this was an ace, I would never pull this move off. So I ended up re-raising. I was kind of leading to that, right? If this king was ace, I wouldn't have made this move because, if you look at an open range chart from Hijack, there's a ton of ace combinations. Pretty much all the suited aces and almost, I guess, all the offsuit aces, right? But the fact that it's a king, he has way less kings in his range than aces in his range. So I could generate a lot more folds. I just think this is a really nice spot to squeeze. I like the fact I have a backdoor club draw, so I plan to barrel any club. I plan to barrel any 4, right? A 4 would be open and a straight draw, so that's great. I plan on barreling any 3, right? I have trips, and I plan on barreling any 6, which would be 2 pairs. So I have a ton of good turns. When you have a lot of good turns, and you think you have a lot of full equity, it's a pretty good time to re-raise as a bluff. So that's what we do. He does call. At this point, I think he does have he has a made hand, most likely a king. Ace, king, king, queen, king, jack, king, 10. Pocket pairs between, all the mid pocket pairs, I actually think he folds. So I don't really put that in his range. Maybe pocket queens and pocket jacks sticks around. But I look pretty damn strong when I re-raise here. Again, I have all the 2-pair combos, almost all the sets in my range. He can't really raise me ever, and he should be falling out a lot of his range. So the fact that he calls me, I'd much rather this guy call me, because he has, more nutted hands like pocket kings in his range. But it's okay. Again, I have a lot of good turns, so sticking to the game plan. We do hit a turn that probably one of the best turns. We get a made hand right away, right? A club draw or straight draw. If this is a 4 or this was a club, we'd be bluffing, right? But we do hit a 3, which is great. That being said, I have to ask myself, what am I targeting right now? Obviously I look real strong. I re-raised on the flop. So that being said, I definitely have king 3 in my range, king 5 in my range. We're still 2-pair, right? I have pocket 3s in my range, but in his eyes, that's less likely, right? Because that was only 1 combination. Since there's a 3 here, I still have pocket 5s in my range. I never have kings in my range. So that being said, I still have a lot of nutted hands in my range, and if he has a single king, which I put him on, I don't think he's gonna call a big bet. I don't think I get a stack in any situation. And then he still got pocket kings in his range, so I'm not trying to go broke either. But again, I think I get value from all the king X hands, so I like a small bet for that reason. And if I had a full house, I like a small bet, right? Because I'm not scared of any rivers, really, right? I'm not scared of the fact that this is a spade, because, spade is still drawing dead. So, for that reason, all those reasons, like a small bet. He does call. This is a flush completing card. I think it'd be a mistake to check my trips here, mainly because I think I still get value from all the kings, the ace king, the king queens, maybe even king jack. I still, don't forget, I still have my most obvious bluff here would be 4-6. or even 4-2, which I definitely have in my range, calling from the big blind, right? I have 4-2 suited. So that reason I do have bluffs in range, and I would make the same play with open end straight draw on a flop as well. So for that reason, I think I still get value from top pair, or it would be, you know, 2 pair, but I still think I get value from a king. So again, I'm trying to get value from king, so I don't want to bet big. He does call, and he has king queen, which makes a ton of sense, and that's exactly what I was targeting. And I think I put him in a tough spot by Ben's my bet sizing. I think if I bet big or sub stacks any way, he will fold this for sure. So I really feel good that I got maximum value. It's nice that the fact this hand started as a bluff, we turn into main hand and just be able to generate value. So I think it's an interesting hand all around. So we have ace jack off in the small blind, face an undergun open. I have this guy marked. At this point we've been playing together for maybe 6-7 hours, so I have a well, maybe close to 6 hours, but I have a pretty good read on this guy. So yeah, I think he plays a lot of hands. So person who's open early position with a lot of hands, I go either way. With 3-bet ace jack off or calling, I think ace jack off is a little too strong to fold when we're still this deep. Even though I'm out of position, it's a tough hand to play. I just think I could play. Yeah, I think it's a decent hand, just either call or raise. You got to be a little careful though out of position playing ace jack. It's one of the worst hands with reverse implied odds, so you just got to be a little careful. Obviously, you flop ace, you have ace king, ace queen beats you. If you flop a jack, like, you know, jack XX, all unders, you can have pocket ace, pocket king, so you get yourself in a lot of trouble. So you just got to be kind of tread lightly. But versus a particular player, I didn't mind calling, so that's what we do. You flop mid pair, very good kicker, on a monotone board, which is not that great, right? When I don't have a heart, we're gonna check the pre-flop aggressor. He bets small, about third pot, which he should do with most of his range. With ace jack on this board, I think we have an easy call. No reason to raise, right? I'm not trying to turn my hand into a bluff. Then he plays perfectly, right? I'm not trying to protect my hand, right? If he has a strong heart, he's not gonna fold anyway, so it's not like I generate fold equity. And if he has nothing, I'm beating nothing, right, with ace jack. And I want to keep him in all his bluffs. We have a blank turn. I check. He bets about half pot. For all reasons, I call on the flop. I like calling on the turn. 3 is blank, doesn't change anything. I still think he barrels with a lot of bluffs, like ace king with 1 heart. Maybe even some under pairs like pocket 10s with 1 heart. He still has the hands like 10-9 suited in his range, maybe with 1 heart. Has open and straight draw, back to a flush draw. Oh, it's just a flush draw, I mean. So I still think he has a lot of bluffs in his range. So that's why I call. Ace on the river is interesting. Obviously, way better for his range than my range. So I should check here 100% of the time, which I do. Even though I haven't made flush, if I played, well, made flush, I would raise probably, depending on what flush combination I would raise on previous street. But ace, I think I just have to check because it's much better in his range, and it's a good bluff card for him. I have a lot of busted, busted flush drawers, like, you know, king X of hearts, one heart. He bets big with 2 pair. I'm not loving it. You know, he did go bet, so he has a little flush in his range. But again, I think he still, all the bluffs I mentioned before, like pocket 10s with 1 heart, 10-9 suited, I think he has all of this in range, so I call. He does have 10-9 suited, which was open and straight draw. Definitely, I like his river bet for sure. I think it's a great card from the bet. And who knows, he could have been planning a bet on a heart as well, which would have been nice. So I don't mind his line at all. But you know, we were able to get max value there. If we raised at any point, he would definitely fold the weekend open and straight draw. And that's all I have. So most of these hands, I did tag in the early to mid set stages of this tournament, only because the more deep you are, the more interesting hands. Later on in the tournament, you know, I had most of the time 30 big blinds, 25 big blinds. So those hands pretty much play themselves. Maybe I might do another video of me later on in the tournament with my 30 big blind stack, 25 big blind stack, just go over like you know, 3-bet shove spots and you know, more lower stack play. But I thought this is a good video to show some interesting early to mid game hands. This was my first main event the $10,000 main event. So I was really excited to be, very fortunate to be able to play it. And yeah, I'm happy I cashed my first event, and I'm excited to play it next year. Hopefully, everything goes back to normal, and we could play it back in Vegas. But I'm definitely gonna play it again, and I'm just very grateful to be have the opportunity to play it this year. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys checking out this video, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.